everyone, and welcome back to Greta's Yoga YouTube channel. It's been a while, but I'm back now. I stopped posting videos because I started working full-time 7 days a week for 2.5 months, and I just didn't feel like I had enough time to fully give to my own practice, so let alone teaching others. But I am back at it. I've kicked up my own practice, and I would love to share a practice with you today, especially this week, it being election week. There is just so much anxiety and stress, and so this is a nice grounding practice to help you feel calmer and to be more at ease. So let's go ahead and get started. Coming down to the earth, we're going to begin in a child's pose. So go ahead when you are ready. Spread the knees wide, big toes to touch, sending the hips back down and spreading the arms, the fingers towards the top edge of your mat. And lowering the forehead to the earth here, closing the eyes and just feeling this nice deep stretch in the shoulders and throughout the spine. This is a nice heart-opening stretch, a pose of surrender. Letting go of whatever we've done before this or whatever we have after this practice. Thanking yourself for showing up and giving this time and this space to yourself. Starting to slow down the breath, checking in with yourself here. Notice what starts to arise. Maybe you can walk the fingertips a little bit more to the top edge of the mat here. And then we're slowly going to push into the hands as we lift the hips up. The eyes can be closed here. We have a soft gaze looking down. We're going to adjust our stance to come into a nice, strong, stable tabletop position. Woo! We're back. Go ahead, have the hands underneath the shoulders here, the knees underneath the hip points, and in your own time, start to do gentle movements that feels good on your body. And then syncing up with the breath, we'll drop the belly here on an inhale, looking up, smiling, and then exhaling, pushing through the fingers, through the tops of the feet as we round the spine here, trying to draw the belly button towards the spine. And then again, inhaling, looking up, and exhaling, creating a nice spinal flexion here. And then maybe you bump the hips to the right and then the lift, or creating nice big circles. And then we'll come back to tabletop position, feeling nice and strong here. We're going to drop the elbows right where our hands are, creating that gap of shoulder distance, and then just walking the arms out and melting the chest and the head forward. We're trying to create a nice stretch in the shoulders here, a very deep shoulder opener, heart opener here. We want to make sure that our hip points are in line with our knees here, and we send the hips up high, almost as if we're in a mini downward dog, a puppy posture. If this is too much for your arms, you can go back to child's pose. And then slowly we're going to engage the core and come all the way down to the belly. And then we're going to keep the forearms where they are. We're going to try to keep this nice degree, nice 90 degree here. I like to, you don't have to, but I like to bring my big toes to touch and my heels spread wide here. We're coming into Sphinx pose. Try not to crank the neck up here, but create a nice soft curve looking right above the yoga mat here. And we want to really press our pelvis into the ground here. We're not flexing the glute muscles here, but keeping that relaxed and really just pushing into the pelvic floor. Breathe here. Feel the strength in the forearms. You might begin to shake a little bit. Take one more deep breath in. And on your exhale, release. Bringing our hands to stack as we rest the forehead here. Taking a moment of rest, a moment of gratitude. And then slowly we'll begin to push our way back to a tabletop position. Just for a moment as we send the hips to one side and bringing the legs through to come to bring our legs long. Maybe moving the flesh away from the sits bones here so that we can fully ground into the earth here. Feeling the sunshine on your body if you're practicing outside like I am. And just reflecting on how warm it is in November. Thinking about that and what's happening to our climate. Go ahead and bring the toes towards our face here. Our feet can be hip distance apart or together, whatever feels good for you. Feel free to bring a slight bend in the knees here. We'll go ahead and inhale the arms up overhead and exhaling forward fold all the way down. I like to bend my knees here generously. Try to bring our hands to our pant legs, the shins, maybe the toes here, maybe the backs of the feet, and then stretching the legs out. If your knees are super bent, that is totally okay. This is your practice. This is what feels good to you. We're just creating space and giving love to our bodies, practicing this deep self-care. Taking one more deep breath here, maybe sinking a little bit deeper. Exhaling. And then we'll inhale, push ourselves back up. We're going to bring our left leg in so that our heel is close to our left sits bone. If it doesn't come this far, you just create that space for yourself, whatever feels good for you in this moment. And then we can grab our shin and sit up nice and tall, making sure that we're continuing to flex this right foot, the toes towards our face here. And then we're going to rock our baby by lifting our leg up, our left leg, and maybe putting this foot into our inner arm or inner elbow, and then grabbing the outside of our left leg, or maybe bringing our arm underneath. And we're just going to create a gentle rock here so that we're opening up through the left hip here. We're trying to create a strong spine here. So if you're hunching over, maybe grabbing just the foot in your hand here so that we can sit up tall and still get that nice deep stretch in our hip. Your eyes can be closed here. Just noticing what feels good for you. What have you been doing the past few months to take care of yourself? To show compassion and love to yourself? What is one thing you can do to just tell yourself that you love yourself? And then slowly we're going to bring that left foot all the way on the outside of the right thigh. Our foot may not touch the earth here, But we're going to bring the inner elbow again of our right arm around and hook that left knee and hug it into our chest here. If this is too much, we can just hug it with our hand. And we're going to swim this left arm back and behind as we sit up tall, coming into a nice stretch. Be mindful of that right foot here. Engage it. Twisting a little bit deeper, looking over that left shoulder. And then exhaling, releasing back everything down. Maybe shaking the legs out here. Again, sitting up tall. Maybe adjusting the sits bone, the flesh again for the sits bones. And we'll bring that right knee up. Again, whatever distance from the heel to the sits bone is good for you. And we'll sit up nice and tall, flexing now the left foot. And then we'll pick up our baby here. And again, bring it into our chest or into our arms to cradle the baby and start rocking it back and forth. Again, whatever feels good for yourself so that we can create that tall spine here. Just playing around with your arm gestures. And breathing into the right hips flexors, the right hip flexor. What's something that you're grateful for today? How can we change our attitude and our mindset to be more positive and uplifting, to again have hope and courage? Go ahead, drop that right foot now on the outside of the left thigh and squeeze your leg in as we twist towards the right now. Bringing that right hand down behind us, not collapsing, but pushing up to create that long spine, to create the energy flowing up and down the vertebrae, the chakras. Maybe smile here. And then on an exhale, releasing everything. From here, we're going to do a wide leg forward fold. So I'm going to change my position on the mat. Feel free to as well, depending on your practicing space. And do whatever feels comfortable for you here. Don't go to your 100%. Take it about a 70 to 80% maximum. Again, we can move the flesh away from the sits bones, and then maybe grabbing our inner thighs, have our thighs lifting upwards, almost spiraling out, and then toes pointed again towards our face. We can use our hands behind us to create space to lift up the spine. Maybe creating a mini back bend as we lift the chin up. And then exhaling, we're going to slowly bring our hands in front of us and walk forward. The knees can be slightly bent here, trying to draw our elbows towards the earth and then rounding through the spine as we drop our head, the crown, towards earth. You may be able to go deep into the stretch, or you may only be here. Whatever you are feeling today, breathe with it. We're not here to judge, to compare. We're here to simply be. Take one more deep breath here. And then on your next exhale, push yourself back up. And then slowly bending the knees first to protect the knees. We're going to lift the legs up and bring the soles of the feet to touch, coming into a nice butterfly pose. We're going to mindfully fly our wings here. So as we inhale, we're going to lift our knees up And then as we exhale, we're going to push our knees down towards the earth. We can have our fingers interlaced around our toes so that we feel grounded. And just slowly again breathing into our hips here, into the groin. After you've done several rounds, we'll go ahead and drop the knees down. You're going to lift the chest up here, lift the heart forward, and then exhaling, trying to keep the back straight as possible for as long as we can. And then rounding through here, trying to sniff our cute little toes. Drawing the chin towards the chest here. Closing the eyes if that feels comfortable. And then lifting up. Take a breath here for a moment. And then we're going to come to whatever comfortable seated position is good for you today. I like to sit with one leg in front of the other. You can sit crisscross if that feels good. You can sit on your shins if that feels good. You can even move to a chair if you would like to. You're going to sit up nice and tall, creating a nice straight spine here again to allow the energy to move through our chakras. And we're going to place our right hand down on the earth and inhale the left arm up overhead, reaching nice and tall, feeling the side stretch in the left side body, and then exhaling, melting over. We're continuing to draw the right or the left hip down, so if our hip comes up, we'll just bring up this right arm, creating space in the shoulders from the neck. Breathing here. And then inhaling, bring both arms up overhead. And exhaling, releasing the left hand down. Inhaling, lifting up from the right side, pushing down through the right sits bones. And then lean towards the left here. Maybe we can lift the heart up here instead of rounding through, creating that space. Breathe deep. And then inhaling back up, bringing both arms up overhead, and exhaling, hands to heart center. Take a moment here to check in with how you're doing. And then we'll swim the fingertips behind and interlace the hands as we draw the knuckles down to try to touch the earth. If they come to the earth, push down through the earth here, through the knuckle points, and lift the chest forward, and maybe slightly bring the chin up towards the sky. Smile. Beautiful. Slowly release. And then we are going to, if you're not lengthwise, to go ahead and come lengthwise just to protect the knees here. We're going to bring our hands out in front of us and just move our legs so that now my knee, my whole shin is a straight line, and my feet are active and engaged here like we were doing in our leg stretches earlier. And we're coming to a froggy variation. So maybe you can go a little bit deeper. Maybe this is too intense and this is enough for you. Go ahead, stay here. Otherwise, we'll bring our forearms down to the grass, the earth, wherever you are practicing, and drop the head. This is a great hip opener. Notice if you're clenching in the jaw here. A lot of times, if our hips are tight, our jaw is also tight. I have TMJ, which is lockjaw. And I notice that when I become really stressed or anxious, I tend to clench up my jaw. So I try to do hip openers and be aware of my facial expressions. You're doing great here. Breathe deep. Taking one more long, deep breath. And then on your next exhale, slowly push up first and then engage the core as you bring the legs together. We are going to shift back to come to tabletop position so you can adjust yourself on your mat here. And then we're going to curl the toes under and send our hips up high for one downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal the feet out here. Taking your dog for a nice walk, just noticing how this feels as we drop the head below the heart space. And then coming to a nice stillness. We're really trying to create length in the spine here. So if we need to bend the knees, please do that. We're not trying to do a perfect stretch. My goodness, there's all these bugs on my mat. Welcome, friends. Please join us. Beautiful. And slowly drop the knees and we'll come back to child's pose. This time we'll bring the knees together and draw the arms down all the way towards the back edge of our mat. Drop the shoulders down, let them round forward. Breathe here. Oh my goodness, this fly really likes me. Hi, buddy. Again, check in with how you're doing, how you're feeling. Notice what's arising in you now. And then on our next inhale, slowly push yourself up. Nice and slow, keeping the eyes closed. Down through the shoulders here. And if this is comfortable for you, stay in this position. Otherwise, come to a nice seated pose once again. We'll bring the hands to heart center. Take a deep breath in. And release everything. Again, we'll inhale in. And release everything out. Slowly drop your head down. Bowing in gratitude for showing up, for being here. I thank you. Know all is well. All will be well. And together, we can do anything. You are strong. You are resilient. You are courageous. You are light. And you are love. May the light in me honor and shine in the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much, and I hope you are taking care of yourself, especially right now through these really challenging times. Give yourself some space, give yourself some compassion, and I'd love to have any conversation with you guys. Feel free to comment down below. Thank you.